Hi everyone, for today's video, I'd like to take a deeper dive into Moderna and really show you that why it is not ready to be purchased. All right, as always, let's take a look at the checklist. Here's the short checklist for fundamental and technical. For fundamental, I'd like to take a look at the weekly for the bigger picture. So let's go there and really kind of take a look at this stock. All right. Let's just start off from the earnings dashboard. It looks like the earnings on a year-over-year, the revenue on a year-over-year basis have been pretty red for the past quite a few quarters. So this is already a red flag. Now, let's take a look at the EPS. The EPS on a year-over-year basis is also red. Looks like they are making less and less and less money, and even lost quite a bit of money on the past quarter. Now, the guidance, I'm not sure because I did not follow the stock that closely, so that's a question mark. Now, just looking at the chart though, this chart has been broken since the peak back in 2021 when it's got to be some news that was driving this move. Not sure what it was, but let's see what the drops are. So from here to here is a 75% drop. That is very steep. So it goes up a little bit. Let's see the other one, 41%. Let's move on to the next one from here to here, 37%. Now, more recently, it's a bit more manageable. From there to there is 25%. So we do see that this thing is dropping less and less. All right, but let's take a look at the daily for the technical. So overall, fundamental checklist is really not that great. But let's take a look at the technical anyway. Well, we're just looking at the technical for a little bit on the drops based on how it was trading back in September 2021. So it's been 2 years. The stock has been going down. Now let's take a look at the relative strength on the daily basis for a more zoomed in view. I drew a horizontal line right there. But just looking at the relative strength, it has been underperforming all this time. So generally speaking, if you look at these curves, it's been going down. It is probably easier to tell on this 50-day simple moving average line. It is going down. It is sloping down, which is not good. It just means that for a while it has not been overperform. It has not been performing well when you compare to the S&P 500. Now, recently, the reason that I'm bringing up this stock is recently there's a small period of outperformance over here. So they must have released some news. It must be news driven. Maybe fall season is here and COVID is in the news again. So maybe there's some sort of news to spark this small burst of buying right there, as you can see by the green bars. Generally speaking, though, for the accumulation checklist, this stock has not been accumulated because I see a lot of red bars going. If I just looking left, there are a lot of red bars versus the green bars, meaning this thing has been actually distributing for the longest time, and the institutions are not getting back in yet. Now, here is probably the ceiling where I drew in the previous support, which is acting as ceiling for the stock when this thing is back in the news in Twitter, etc. Again, it was right around here, but it was getting close to the 65-day EMA, which is the purple line right there. So oftentimes, if a stock is under accumulation, the stock will be trading and supported by the 65-day EMA, as opposed to resisted by the 65-day EMA, which is what we see here. I even drew a downward sloping line, downward trend line coming from way back. It's kind of acting as a resistance as well. But more importantly, though, it did perform well for a few days, but it never closed above the 65-day EMA. If you look on the RS line, after this peak, the RS has been dipping. So this stock is really not that ready. Now, let's take a look at the last one on the list, which is a low risk entry. So even if we do like to buy this stock, a low risk entry would be some sort of, it's been consolidating up and down, up and down. So a couple closes above the 65-day EMA will be a very, very good sign. So that would be a telltale sign that the stock is back in the game. But that's not how it played out. So if I just hide the tickers for the past few trading sessions, if we are looking at this chart back in August 30th, this past Wednesday, this was actually looking pretty okay. I was watching this start to just see how it plays out for a low risk entry. Looks to me like if it closed above the 65-day EMA, if you just have two closes to kind of prove itself, then two consecutive closes will be the best. Then it will be buyable around that price range, around let's call it 120-ish. And then if it ever trades below this range, it might be at the low of this day. It's probably a good time to take your loss. But let's fast forward a few more days. It looks like it never poked above the 65-day EMA, so it was never ready to be purchased to begin with. All right. Now, if I turn on my other indicator, the Super Trend AI, to just kind of see what that is telling us. So with this spot right there, this indicator turned green, meaning that there's some positive signs technical-wise using the ATR methodology. But I also noticed that this is under the purple line, so it's not strong enough yet. So I was just watching. And when it hit like this day, kind of lose interest on this one. When it hit this day, I was waiting to see if it has another day to support right above this green line right there. So I might have a little bit of hope. But looking at today, it really broke that line, and it may actually close below this line. Right now, I'm recording this at close to noon, so anything can happen, but it's likely that this will close below this green line. So this indicator will turn red, which is another sign on top of the RS, on top of the accumulation, on top of the 65-day EMA, all pointing to that this stock is not ready to be purchased. There's another thing though, for these bottom fisher type of stock, it's very difficult to win because there's a lot of overhead resistance. So people who bought over at these prices, they are all in the red, and those people will be very happy to just sell those shares back for a break even and move on from there. Meaning there's going to be a lot of selling pressure unless the institution comes in, unless they have something very, very positive about themselves to turn this around. That is rare. That is kind of against the probabilities. And even if I draw this horizontal line all the way across, which was the previous support where it broke it, this is actually a good time to short the stock. Actually, at this one close to 119, 118 time. Long story short, usually hit to long stocks, not short them. So this is not a good stock to long. All right, that is it.